want to get my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
It all started with a single story post on Instagram. Black background, white bold letters. No tags, no emojis. Just one line that made the internet explode. Don't ever touch my family again. I've held back long enough. That one sentence sent shockwaves through every fanbase, gossip blog, and social media feed. Nobody had to guess too long who it was directed at. Within minutes, people were piecing it together. The comments flooded in, the theories multiplied, and the screenshots started circulating. This wasn't just any drama. This was Teyana Taylor speaking directly to Iman Shumpert, her ex, the father of her child. And whatever happened behind the scenes, it was serious. For years, Teyana and Iman had been the couple people rooted for. Stylish, strong, creative, real. They had the kind of love people believed in. But everything fell apart quietly, then publicly. And now it seemed like everything had snapped. The real trigger? A birthday party. A small family gathering for Teyana's niece. Nothing flashy, nothing major. Just balloons, cake, music, and the comfort of family. Until Iman showed up. He wasn't invited, not really. But he came anyway, claiming he wanted to see his daughter, who was also attending. At first, people gave him space. No one wanted to create a scene. But Iman wasn't there just to say hi. He had something on his chest, and he wasn't going to leave without letting it out. He tried to pull Teyana aside. She said not now, not here. But he insisted. She kept her voice calm, trying not to escalate, trying to avoid making a memory her daughter would carry. But Iman didn't care. Witnesses say his voice started rising. Not shouting, but firm. Heated. Emotional. And then he reached for her arm. Not to hurt her, not violently, but enough to make her step back. Enough to make her cousin step in and say, "That's enough, bro. You need to leave." It was a moment. A spark that lit the flame. Teyana didn't say anything that night. She didn't post. Didn't react. She left quietly, her daughter's hand in hers, lips tight, eyes cold. But by the next day, something had changed. She had stayed quiet through rumors, headlines, even disrespect. But this crossed the line. And so she posted. The post was simple, but powerful. And fans knew immediately. She wasn't just venting. She was drawing a line. A warning. A declaration. The internet went wild. Twitter threads popped up within seconds. Fans demanded the full story. Some were shocked, others weren't. Those who had been following the subtle clues, the silence between Teyana and Iman, the way they stopped being seen together, the vague tweets, the distant co-parenting, weren't surprised. But even they weren't ready for this level of raw emotion. Soon after the story post, more followed. Not long paragraphs, just short, sharp lines that hit like punches. You don't get to ruin peace you never helped create. My daughter watches everything. I will never let her think this is love. Fatherhood isn't control. It's presence. And still, she never said his name. Not once. But she didn't have to. Everyone knew. Iman broke his silence later that night, and it only made things worse. He posted a tweet. "You always play victim when you start the fire." It didn't even last an hour. He deleted it after the backlash came hard and fast. People called him out. "This ain't it. So you grabbed her at a party, and you mad she said something? Be a man and take accountability." Screenshots of the tweet spread anyway. And more people began sharing what they had seen at the party. A relative commented anonymously on a fan forum, saying, "We were trying to keep it peaceful for the kids." But he came in with attitude. Tay tried to be calm, but he wouldn't let up. Another source close to the family said this wasn't the first time Iman had shown up unannounced. That he often used their daughter as a reason to insert himself into moments where he no longer had a place. That he still hadn't accepted that the relationship was over. And then, of course, people started bringing up Aaron Pierre. Ever since Teyana and Aaron had quietly begun seeing each other, Iman had been uneasy. Even when they weren't officially back together. Even when Teyana kept things low-key, something about Aaron seemed to get under Iman's skin. Friends say he used to make comments like, he'll never love her like I did. Or, she's just using him to get over me. When Teyana brought Aaron around family a few times, Iman didn't take it well. He sent her long texts, passive-aggressive and manipulative. She didn't respond. She tried to keep the peace for her daughter, but he just kept pushing. So when he showed up at the birthday party, saw Aaron's name on a gift bag, and noticed that everyone else seemed to be moving on, something in him snapped. And that's what led to the confrontation,
To the arm grab.
to the fallout. And now, Teyana wasn't holding back. More stories followed in her IG. One said, "Sometimes the people who say they love you the most are the ones who hate when you heal." Another said, "I chose peace, but I'll choose war to protect my child." The response? Overwhelming, doesn't even begin to cover it. Celebrities started weighing in, liking, commenting, even reposting her powerful words. Suddenly, Teyana's truth was everywhere, lighting up timelines and sparking conversations. Fans flooded her DMs and mentions with an outpouring of love and support. They told her she wasn't alone, that she was fierce, brave, and redefining what real boundaries look like in a world that often forgets them. The digital streets were buzzing, and the message was clear. Teyana was not just surviving, she was leading. Behind the scenes, things got serious fast. Her team didn't waste a second. Security protocols were tightened like Fort Knox. Lawyers were called in to draw up airtight boundaries, especially when it came to family gatherings, visits, and co-parenting terms. No more gray areas. No more open doors for chaos. This was the moment Teyana stopped trying to keep the peace. Because let's be real, the peace had already been shattered. Meanwhile, Iman? He was spiraling hard. Close friends say he felt misunderstood, drowning in his own regret. He wanted to reconnect. He missed his family, but he was lost, expressing his pain in all the wrong ways. One insider put it bluntly, he wants to be part of the picture again, but he doesn't know how to do that without trying to control the frame. Translation? He was trying to rewrite the story his way, but the control freak in him was holding him back.
Teyana?
She wasn't interested in explanations or excuses anymore. Her focus was razor-sharp, her daughter, protecting her energy and breaking the toxic cycle once and for all. No more drama. No more tension. No more blurred lines that let chaos creep back in. She posted a video that said it all without saying much. Just her and her daughter painting together. No faces shown, just their hands covered in bright, messy colors, laughter bubbling in the background. The caption was simple but powerful. This is what matters. This is all that matters. Fans loved it. They applauded the shift, from scandal to survival, from gossip to growth. The conversation was changing, and Teyana was leading the way with strength, grace, and a fierce determination that nobody could ignore. But Iman? Oh, he wasn't ready to let the past stay buried. Just days after the world seemed to move on, he dropped a story of his own, a blurry, low-quality photo of him with their daughter, taken months ago. The caption? They always forget who was there first. Subtle? Not even close. It was a blatant jab, a desperate plea for sympathy disguised as a humble brag. But the internet didn't bite. Oh no, they devoured it. The comments blew up instantly. People weren't here for his pity party. Being first doesn't mean being right. One user fired off. Another hit harder. You were there, sure. But were you present? The most savage? Stop using your kid as a pawn for sympathy.
Boom.
Just like that, the post was flooded with calls out and clapbacks. The pressure was too much, even for Iman. Before long, he deleted the post, vanishing like a bad Tinder date who realized he messed up. And what about Teyana? She kept her mouth shut. No public rebuttals. No petty drama or back-and-forth Twitter wars. She didn't need to. The world already saw the story, the ugly pattern behind the scenes. More importantly, she had already spoken, loudly, clearly, and once and for all. That's the kind of power that doesn't need repetition. Sometimes, the most devastating statement is silence, especially when it's earned through pain, strength, and truth. Instead of throwing fuel on the fire, Teyana shifted her energy. She launched a fresh wave of posts filled with healing vibes, raw creativity, and motherhood moments that felt authentic and grounded. She shared glimpses into her life, the music she's been pouring her soul into, the art that's born from both heartbreak and hope, and the quiet, tender moments with her kids that no scandal can touch. There was no shade, no drama, just raw, unfiltered peace radiating from every frame. But here's the real kicker. She kept one story pinned at the top of her profile. That original black post, the one with a fierce, no-nonsense message. Don't ever touch my family again. I've held back long enough. That post? It wasn't just words. It was a mic drop. A blazing reminder to everyone watching that a woman's strength isn't a sign she hasn't been pushed. That healing doesn't mean forgetting what happened. That silence doesn't mean she's surrendering. Teyana's silence was loud enough to shake the foundations. It said, "I'm done with the games. I'm done with the lies. I'm done with letting anyone disrespect what I've built." And with that, she claimed her peace, on her own terms, fierce and unapologetic. Because sometimes, walking away and staying silent is the most rebellious thing you can do. Teyana had spoken, not to entertain the haters, not to deliver a cruel comeback, but to protect what's hers, her family, her peace, her truth. And moving forward, that's exactly what she'll do. Loudly, fiercely, without an ounce of apology. Because here's the truth. When you mess with a woman who's already been through the storm, you don't just wake a sleeping lion. You face the wrath of a queen who's not afraid to roar. And Teyana? She's roaring louder than ever.